If you thought Rebel Moon Part 1 and 2 were bad, you should watch the director's cut. It's perplexing how such weak scripts could even be approved for production, and the director's cuts just gives you more of the same boring and uninspired movies, just in a longer dose. Let's dig through this trash can, shall we?
Of course, it's garbage.
Welcome back to Poprageous, everyone. I'm Danny Alex. For those of you who didn't watch the director's cuts of Rebel Moon Parts 1 and 2, congratulations. You saved yourself 7 hours of torturous hell. I mean, my God, reliving these two movies in their longer form was an exercise in just trying to stay awake. The writing is firmly in the atrocious category for both of these movies. So it absolutely astounds me that a script that is as poorly written as Rebel Moon can get approved by the powers that be at Netflix. The director's cuts of Rebel Moon are about as bad as a screenplay can get.
Did you see what I just saw?
The amount of exposition in these two movies is beyond comprehension, and that's basically all they added in the director's cuts. In a movie, you want minimal exposition, as the interaction between characters and the plot should tell the story with the visuals complementing it all as it unfolds. You watch a movie, you don't listen to someone that tells you what happens. That's called Kindle, you dumbass.
God, I feel so stupid.
The first half of Rebel Moon Part 2, the first 80 minutes, is nothing but characters talking about themselves. There's also long-winded scenes of slow-motion grain harvesting that goes on and on and on. That's about as entertaining as getting hit by a speeding bus while crossing the street. All the director's cuts do is give you even more exposition on the already exposition-drenched originals. That's basically all they added. Long, sleepy scenes that were made even longer, if you can believe it. And there's only one reason Zack Snyder does this: hubris. He can be a very pretentious director. He's the kind of director that films hours of artistically motivated shots and camera angles in the belief that the audience wants to sit there and watch these long, needless scenes, moving images that have little to nothing to do with the story and have no reason to even be in the final cut.
Why are you watching this crap?
But the worst thing about these movies is easily the plot and the actual story. This entire movie happens because Atticus Noble, a high-ranking admiral with the most powerful ship in the Imperium, wants and needs grain.
Are you kidding me?
This is Zack Snyder's idea for a compelling sci-fi. It's like taking the most evil and sadistic stormtroopers from Star Wars and have them attack and subjugate a small community of Amish people. For what? Grain? If I was the decision maker at Netflix and Zack Snyder came to me with this script idea, I would cancel the project on the spot, no questions asked. The visuals in Rebel Moon turn into like a mess in your mind as the storyline and plot mixes with the ridiculous costumes that range from medieval pageantry to Hitler's Nazi SS. It feels visually incoherent as Snyder tries to mix familiar imagery to represent some kind of futuristic culture in Rebel Moon. I mean, it just does not work. Zack Snyder should not be writing screenplays. He's terrible at it.
Go on.
He should stay completely out of that part of the filmmaking process and make the larger creative decisions a director does, and leave the screenwriting to the people who know what they're doing. Rebel Moon relies on an incredible amount of plot armor so that Zack Snyder can have his 5'3", 100-pound female protagonist be the kick-ass Mary Sue that she is. And hey, Rey Skywalker, you got nothing on this girl, man.
Well, you make a good point.
These movies are an endless cavalcade of pointless, long-winded character speeches that serve no purpose. Exposition-riddled, slow-motion scenes that do nothing but take an already boring movie concept and make it longer and even more boring. If you like watching farmers farm in slow motion, Rebel Moon is the movie for you. The director's cut of Rebel Moon Parts 1 and 2 are far worse than the shorter original versions released before them. The whole Zack Snyder mystique of releasing a director's cut after the original cinematic release is losing its appeal, and with Rebel Moon, it proves his director's cuts are a pretentious remix of a longer version made worse by the lack of any real story and likable characters. And that's all I have to say about Rebel Moon Parts 1 and 2, the director's cut, and I will see you in our next video. Cheers.